you, Mr. Chairman. I really appreciate you having this hearing today. To the panel, thank you for being here. The Chinese government has a core mission to achieve technological parity. We've talked about that today, and eventual superiority over the U.S. To this end, Chinese entities backed by the Chinese government are acquiring massive amounts of patents, IP rights, and trademarks that prove to be obstacles and potential threats to our own citizens and industries. In 2015, the Chinese government announced, as we talked today, its Made in China initiative, which identified key technological areas and industries China intends to target. This includes, of course, aerospace, next generation information technology, advanced rail systems, and biotech. Professor Cohen, as China moves into the next phase in its development after its Made in China 2025 initiative, what do you anticipate the Chinese government will do in its strategic plan to target the U.S. in terms of our IP and technology?
Well, China is very much aware that we're in a competitive situation, our two countries, and I think we're going to see increasing targeting of industries that China views as critical to its own national economic development or security, and particularly in areas where the U.S. is denying access. I think semiconductors is probably foremost among them, and we could see in the constitution of the party Politburo and other leading organizations where we have a higher cohort of STEM-educated party members, as well as a higher cohort actually of semiconductor-oriented STEM-educated officials. So it's very clear that that is way up there. I think biotech is some of the other areas we mentioned, particularly in AI, security applications involving AI, and anything involving national defense, including national defense patenting.
Thank you. And finally, this Mr. Evanina and Professor Cohen, considering recent government findings regarding the risks of technology commercialized by Huawei and TikTok, what do you think are the dangers posed by Chinese technology being incorporated into international technical standards like 5G, 6G, Wi-Fi, et cetera? We'll start with you, Mr. Evanina.
Thank you, Congressman. I think the threats are significant, and U.S. government, intelligence apparatuses, and law enforcement need to do a much more effective job in educating the American public of why that matters. For instance, the current war on TikTok, the issue, the conversation, the dialogue, it is not a political issue. This is a data-driven issue of the nefarious, not only capabilities, but intent of the Communist Party to get into that software and have access to your entire phone. We just do not educate well enough what that threat is. With Huawei, Huawei got, again, the Chinese Communist Party strategically, more than a decade ago, saw vulnerability in our inability to communicate, especially in the rural markets, telecommunications, and they took advantage of that. And those systems they put in place had also intelligence apparatuses combined to a legitimate business perspective. So I think when you look at how sophisticated they are with utilizing legitimate business enterprises as intelligence apparatus, we just need to educate more effectively what that looks like and make an educated consumer, whether it be a state, locality, or a business person, what the risks are.
Thank you. Professor Cohen?
Yeah, I think social media and apps on your phone are one risk. I think IoT in particular is another huge risk that this country has to deal with, where our data will go back to the provider of the equipment, who in most cases is going to be based in China. So this is really a matter of evaluating the backdoor risks that are posed, and I think we need to do a better job of that task. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.